The next part in this fire extinguisher is going to be a two-part video. This really is not going to show off any type of new skills with the exception of, I guess, process or approach. In this case, I have a object that is, let me look over here. I have an object that you can see right here. When I say top handle, this is where I mean where this pin is going through. It's kind of irregularly shaped, but if you look as well in terms of the, it's not a solid piece. I mean, it's solid by the fact that it has thickness, but this is something that's stamped out of sheet metal or what have you. So there's a process here where you have to kind of decide what's the. I've done this a couple different directions. What makes the most sense? Does it make the most sense to try to draw this as a solid and whittle away from it, or draw this as a flat object and then extrude it and then make it into a solid? Okay. In the drawing itself, I realized that there are a couple of things that seem a little goofed up. And I'll address those things as I go. And the other thing with this drawing that I'm going to try to do is to, where did I put it? I thought I put it here. There it is. The other thing I'm going to do with the drawing is try to I address some of these things, like I said, as I cruise along. So I'm going to shrink this thing down and get started. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from this right here. I do have a length between these holes, but I don't have an overall length. So I'm going to start in the top left corner of this, drawing a line that's 4.265 and then down 0.524. So we switch to my layer. I do have a top handle layer, so I guess I'll draw in it. And my line right here is 4.265. And then my line down is 0.524, just like I can see over here. If I look down, I can see that I'm coming back inward, and that is parallel, 2.50. And then it looks as if I come down, and I did give myself a distance A, which is 0.634. Really exact distances here, I suppose. And then I gave myself an angle for B, which is 10 degrees. And I don't necessarily have an angle for this, but what I do know is that it is 90. So if I come down at an angle 10, and I draw a 90-degree angle from that angle 10, so what I'm going to do is abort that part. And I'm going to come down and I don't care how long this is. I'll just send this into space and I will say use the at symbol. I'll say 3 angle. And now remember, it's not 10. 10 would be up here. So this is actually from this point, which is 270. So it's 280. Now at this point, if I rotate this, or if I copy it rather, the trick to this when you have an unknown is think a little bit outside the box. And if I were to rotate this from this point going in, if I go in this direction, that's positive. But if I go from here, if I say negative 90 degrees, that gets me to here, and where I can go ahead and take this now and move it. And that solved my unknown distance and unknown distance for these two. So these can now just be trimmed. Okay. So for the most part, that's done. Now I'm going to get to a portion with holes, and what I'm going to try to do with this is draw these holes in such a way. I'm going to try to template these so that I can come back and use them again. Okay. It tells me that the distance, so if I take an offset line, 0.150, from the end of the handle, that the center of this hole is 0.120 down from the end. So if I offset 0.150, and I'm going to stop this right here and just come back and make a third part, and start from that actual very beginning.